You know, one of the things that I find really difficult with narcissistic family members and parents of adult children is really trying to conceptualize the strategies and the behavioral decisions of the narcissist. No matter how experienced a therapist may be, or how I might be in terms of meeting up with narcissistic parents and family members, there's always that side of the narcissist that just thwarts the whole idea and conceptualization of who they are as an individual. Narcissists know how to change their stripes like a tiger, like a chameleon. They know how to change, and sometimes that change is intentional, while at other times it isn't. You know, what's intentional about the narcissist is that they can process cognitively what it is that they need to do to get over on you, to manipulate you, to anger you, or to belittle you. But they can also do things unintentionally that keeps you guessing all the time about which way are they going. Narcissists know, especially those who are close to you, like a parent or a family member, how to push your buttons. And in some situations, they push your buttons unintentionally by changing their attitude and the way that they have become interconnected to you, or how they communicate with you, I'm trying to say. So in today's video, I want to highlight some reasons why the narcissistic family member or parent may actually be kind of confusing. But before we jump in, let me briefly introduce myself in case you're new. My name is Tamara. I'm internationally and board certified as a trauma therapist. I'm licensed in mental health. I specialize in treating children, teens, and families, as well as adults who are dealing with trauma. Let's go ahead and jump in. One of the reasons I became a psychotherapist is because of the complexity of the human mind and behavior. It's pretty shocking to observe the behaviors, the disposition, the thought patterns, the emotions of an individual who is complex from the beginning of time. Narcissists are, sometimes born and made. There's some research that suggests that they are genetically predisposed to interact in the world as they interact, but then they are also influenced by their environment. So that may be, by who they were raised around, the kind of things that they had access to, culture, socioeconomic status. Like, there's a lot that goes into a narcissist. And one of the most complex pieces of a narcissist is figuring out, how do I maneuver this person, especially if they are someone in my life, like a family member or a parent. How do I maneuver this person in a way that keeps me safe, keeps them at great length, right, so that I can protect my territory, but then also accept some of the good that they are dishing out. It's not something that's easy to manage, and it's also not something that therapists can say, hey, do A, B, and C, and this will help you get through it. There's no rule book or guidebook on how to deal with a narcissistic parent or a narcissistic family member. Narcissists in general are complicated, but there are situations specifically that may impact you greater than just knowing a narcissist as a friend or dating one. And that would be having a parent like this or a family member. So, you may have found somewhere along the way with this narcissistic person that you're trying to, understand why they're nice at certain points and why they're mean and calculating at other times. There's absolutely no research that has been done to figure out or learn about the many reasons why a narcissist may be nice one minute and maybe, a cutting throat criminal on the other side of things. Sometimes narcissists just change like a chameleon. Sometimes they change their stripes, and it's really hard to figure out what that key moment was, So let me tell you a little bit about these kind of chameleon narcissists, and let me give you some things that they are likely to do that will keep you in limbo with them. Now, a narcissist has a very calculating way of communicating with people, especially the malignant narcissist and especially the vulnerable narcissist. These two narcissists kind of need other people, especially the vulnerable narcissist, who comes across as a quiet, sometimes sullen or depressed individual, and you don't expect them to make everything about them because they seem emotional, they seem caring, they seem like they understand the dynamics of emotions and relationships. But the reality is that a vulnerable narcissist and a malignant narcissist may do one thing on you, which is devalue you on one side and idolize you on another. We call this splitting. In the field of psychology, splitting is something that is known as the act of taking one person and splitting them into two people. One person you may love and adore, and the next time you may devalue and denigrate them because they're not meeting your expectations. Individuals with borderline personality disorder may do that as well. 1 minute you're a celebrity to them, and the next minute you're garbage to them, for lack of a clinical explanation. And so this splitting tactic can sometimes be used by a narcissist who is being nice 1 minute to you and being ugly and dominating the next minute. So keep that in mind. You may also see the narcissist learn how to draw you back in over time. So let's say they're kind of distant with you. Let's say this is your parent, for example. They don't want anything to do with you. They're not the lovey-dovey, hugging, nurturing parent, right? They don't care about your thoughts, feelings, or your behaviors. They don't care about your decisions and what you do. So this is a narcissistic parent who everything is about them, right? These kind of parents push you away. Well, let's say, for example, you did feel pushed away and you really ran away from this person. You moved to a different state. You blocked your phone number. You started your own life. This particular narcissist knows how to pull you back in so that you're back under their clutches, for example, or you're back under their dominating power once again. So they know how to draw you back in, but just know that once they draw you back in, they are likely to continue the abuse cycle. It's just that maybe they've cooled off for a little bit and they know how to be nice to you and to respect you and to value you and to idolize you, but just know that they're coming back to the same person they have always been. It's important to keep in mind that a narcissistic family member or parent really does know how to idolize and devalue. And sometimes, again, it's unintentional and they don't realize that that's a cycle. So aside from splitting you, what are some other reasons why these particular parents and family members may be nice to you? Well, let's go to narcissistic injury. Sometimes the narcissistic individual doesn't have a narcissistic injury. Here's the definition right here on the screen. A narcissistic injury is you doing something to them that makes them feel devalued, insecure, what's the other word that I could use? Embarrassed. They may also feel ashamed or guilty because of something you have done. Most of the time, it isn't something bad that you have done to them. It's a boundary that you've set in place. It's a rule that you've laid down. It's a regulation that you tell them they're not to challenge. It's something that you have done that has put up the boundary and they don't like it. Perhaps this is also something that you have done to call them out and they don't like it. So then their ego gets bruised. That's really not what a narcissistic injury is. Their ego gets bruised. And so when that happens, it's hard for them to bounce back. And so they may, be angry with you for a certain period of time and keep you at bay. So let's say, for example, that has happened. The narcissist is probably being nice to you because they haven't experienced a narcissistic injury. There is nothing to be offended by at this point in time. So why be offended? So you guys are friends all over again, right? They have a plan to triangulate. Malignant narcissist, manipulative narcissist, dark empath, narcissist parents. This group, has a really good way of triangulating. But when there is no need to triangulate, they're nice. There's no need to manipulate a situation. There's no need to try to gain the upper hand. There's also no need to fight for the position of power and dominance. So, everything is cool with them because they don't need to fight and compete. Now, you may see this really nice narcissistic parent or family member get angry and aggressive again when you do something big, like put a rule down, move to a different state. You have also maybe seen their tactics and called them out on it. Maybe you're getting married, maybe you're having a child. You're doing things that changes the dynamic of your relationship with this narcissistic parent or family member. And when that happens, things aren't that great. You know what I mean? But if there's nothing to triangulate and to create a big exposure over, then they won't do it. And so they're nice, right? They're in a good mood. They're great. They're wonderful, because there is no need to create a stir or create a problem. So they're not going to triangulate. They want ultimate control. That's the next thing that you're likely to see in a narcissist who is being nice to you right now. They have a goal. The goal is to be nice to you, to regain your trust, to extend an olive branch, to kind of pull you back in emotionally. And then they're going to overpower you and gain the dominant hand once again. Now, this kind of a narcissist, you may want to consider them a dark empath. Here's my video right up here where I talk about dark empaths and what you are likely to see. But a dark empath is calculating because they're narcissistic, sociopathic, and they have Machiavellianistic or Machiavellianism tendencies, which is they get this gratification and this stimulation out of harming you and being cynical and cruel. So, this kind of individual wants the ultimate control, and they know how to pull you back in to get it. They don't want you to extend your boundaries and rules and regulations. So be nice, right? It's kind of placating you so that you don't change the dynamic of things. If they can keep you where they want you, they win. And so a narcissist, especially a malignant narcissist, is likely to be nice to you because they don't want you to put up the rules, the boundaries, and the regulations that keeps them at bay. They are in the cycle of abuse. I said this to a client today in the same speed. They are in a cycle of abuse. And basically what that means is they're in the honeymoon period with you. So the cycle is this: things are wonderful, tension builds, frustration builds, an explosion happens, and then we're nice again. Here's a copy of the cycle of abuse right here on the screen so that you can see it. This is the cycle of abuse in codependent relationships, in domestic violence relationships, in situations where there has been malignant narcissists who are controlling the relationship. The cycle of abuse is one of the most prominent red flags in a situation where there's a narcissist, because there's always going to be a honeymoon period where everything is fine. And so when that happens, right, the tensions and the anxiety and the frustration has been reduced. And so, of course, they're going to be nice. Sometimes a narcissist is going to be codependent as well. Sometimes they are also going to be avoidant and dependent. And here's what I mean by this. A narcissist who is a vulnerable narcissist, or perhaps they're a dark empath and they appear to have empathy, they can sometimes be avoidant, meaning that they want to connect with other people, but they don't want to put themselves out there because they're so vulnerable on the inside and they have a very weak ego. So they're not going to put themselves out there, although they want to. Now, you may also see this dependent personality disorder with the narcissist. They depend on you for everything, for their finances, for their emotional management, for their mental health, for their opportunities in life. They may be completely dependent on you. And so when you get a narcissistic parent or family member like this, of course they're going to be nice. They need you. It's always about them. Even if they're not manipulating you and using you, it's still about them. If they can keep you somewhere locked down with them in their life out of a dependency or out of an avoidance, right? Because they are fearful, shy, anxious, they'll do it. And so the best way for them to do that is to be nice to you. Now, this is an interesting one, okay? And I just had a long conversation with one of my clients about this a couple months ago, that, a narcissistic individual, is going to be nice to you and cooperative when you are winning. Sometimes a narcissist just doesn't have what it takes to be in this battle with you. And if you're winning, at the game of pool, or you're winning on the chess table, then, they're not gonna rock the boat. Okay, that's the best way that I can put that. You are winning. So sometimes if a narcissistic parent or family member is intimidated by you, or they recognize they can't get over on you, they're gonna stop being mean, right? And they're gonna try to change their behavior because they need you for something. And anytime you're needed, they're not gonna put up their dukes and fight you, right? They don't wanna punch you, because if they do that, then they're gonna lose your support. So keep that in mind as well, that you are possibly winning at this relationship, and that's why they are nice to you. You know, this is a topic that requires many more videos, so stay tuned. I'm going to be doing more videos about this. You need to know and understand the different components of a narcissistic dark empath parent or family member so that you can be aware of some of the tactics that they pull. One tactic is being nice to you, and sometimes you may actually feel that loving connection from them, because again, keep in mind that narcissists, especially dark empaths, know how to show cognitive empathy. They know how to give you what you want and give you what you need. They think it through, they intellectualize it, and they deliver. They don't have the emotional empathy or the compassionate empathy that they need. They have the cognitive empathy, and so they operate from here, not from here. And so, you know, they can manipulate you for many years until their time is up. So stay tuned. We're going to continue to talk about this. Thank you so much for being with me in this video today, guys. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can stick around and be a part of our channel. Hit that bell button so you know every time I post a community post, a video, anything, a story, hit that bell button. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.